you. I'd like to start off talking about this to welcome anybody. Everybody has their like one sentence negativity that they want to post on this topic. If you feel like this is a bad development for the city of Crown Point, do us a favor and post your full thought so that way we can have a conversation with people.
Yes.
If you don't like this, I think that freedom of speech is really important. Voice your opinion, but bring some facts with it.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that sentiment?
100%. I think that because we're seeing a lot right now of just like, this will be Section 8, terrible for the community, there it goes, all of these ridiculous comments.
Yeah.
And listen, I own my home, okay?
Yep.
I sell homes for a freaking living.
Yep.
I'm here promoting the fact that it is very valuable for a good area, a great city with great people and a great community and great schools and great things to do and great local business owners and all of this stuff that we have and great people. You have to have great places for people to rent. This is no longer 10,000 people, Crown Point, Indiana from 1940.
It's a different game.
Or whatever that was. That's not a direct amount of population at that time. Just saying, for example, this is a growing area where people need, and now, by the way, these are single family homes that if they were sold would be probably $500,000, I would guess. Let's just say 400.
Yep.
Okay. These are going to be for people. For a personal example, I just had a property one of my own properties that is $1,450 a month in rent. I just got an application the tenant application makes $125,000 a year as a nurse practitioner. Yeah. That person would be interested probably in a much nicer rental like this. Do you think someone making $125,000 a year with good credit, good standing, good lease records and previous, do you think they're going to take care of their property? My answer, personally, yes, more than likely.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, if you look at great areas, they have great high quality places to rent. If you're going to say, oh, Section 8, oh, this, that, and the other, there goes the city, giving it away, all this stuff that I'm seeing, like you said, this bothers me a little bit more because, and I get a little bit more upset about it because, again, like you said, bring something back behind that and let's have a conversation about it.
We're very reasonable people, like I like to think. We'll talk to you.
Yeah, I want to hear the reasoning for it. Is it just because you don't rent, so you think renting is bad? This isn't about you, right? Yeah. Like, this is about our community. This provides, you know how many people move here? Like, we just had a client recently, bought a house, 2 months later, relocated. Do you think that person, you know how much of a pain and difficult that is to buy a house and then have to sell it too much later? Mm-hmm. Do you think they might have been financially bad for them? How much would they have liked to put their family in a nice place to rent? How many people how many people moving from Illinois are looking to say, okay, or just different areas, not just Illinois, all over the country who are relocating here for jobs or whatever, wouldn't like to say, is this a place that I want to live? Well, instead of buying something, I'd like to rent a nice property and see where we would like to live. Those are people that then eventually buy into the community. So my viewpoint is this. If you look at the best places to live with the best schools, the lowest crimes, the best access to things to do, places to go, places to eat, good restaurants, good community events, all of that, they have great places that can be rented out. And you have to consider that this is a great option for people who are looking to become a part of our community in Crown Point. And this is a great place for them to do it, whether they're in transit or in the move. And at the end of the day, by simply saying, oh, it's going to go to Section 8. I mean, if you want, don't be like, honestly, it's ridiculous to even be like, oh, these $3,000 a month, $500,000 houses are going to be $800 a month in rent. You are out of your mind. Yeah. And we see the rental market demand. It's that property I mentioned at almost $1,500 a month is a 2-bed, 2-bath. It's 800 square feet. Yeah. And think about a full house with a 2-car garage, 4 beds, 2.5 baths, all this. Like, these are people with, that they're not going to go into bad condition. And by the way, we don't have enough places to rent. So in my opinion, this is a great addition to the area. And just by saying, oh, they're renting, well, maybe that's not what you want to do, but maybe that is best for them and their family and their situation. And it doesn't mean that it's going to turn the community into this terrible area. That you've got to take that out of your mind that renting is bad. There's amazing families and people a part of the community who just like to rent. Yeah. I don't know what else to say to that.
Yeah, I was going to point out the domino effect that is going to happen when these are built. The people that are whether you want to call it like overqualified or whatever to be a tenant for like the duplex you were talking about. Those people then rent in this new community, and that opens up housing options for people who weren't as qualified as the nurse practitioner to be able to rent the duplex, and it gives them a chance to get their own house. So it just really like
because we don't have enough places
there's not enough to rent.
Yes.
So you got let's just say like stereotypical like single mother competing with the nurse practitioner, who on paper looks better. They're going to go with the nurse practitioner, and then what's the single mom going to do? Move in with a friend? Like, it just puts her in a terrible place.
There's a lot of that right now. It's a good point.
Yeah, so it just opens up a lot of opportunity there. Couple things from the article. They said that the average household income in their other communities was $176,000, if I remember correctly on the figure. That's a pretty sizable amount of income. And then another thing that they pointed out is that they found when somebody's paying about $3,000 a month in rent, they are the quickest tenants to call to complain about a maintenance issue and point out things that are going wrong. So if you think these properties are just going to be, poorly maintained, if you're paying $3,000 a month for a house, you would nitpick it pretty hard. You would make sure that the owner of that home was providing a great service for you. Or you wouldn't get the value of $3,000 a month, and you would move on. And the last thing there was that the city would like to see some kind of guarantee, like an ordinance for the upkeep, and they had committed to come back to the city with an update on that.
Good. I want to add one more thing in there as well. Like if you think about this, going back to the people who just say renting bad. Sometimes people have situations in their life where they have great income, but for whatever reason, something might have happened in their situation that they can't buy. Right? That happens a lot. Right? What if someone goes through a divorce and goes through bankruptcy, but they still make good money? They still have. What if somebody
gets their identity stolen?
Dude,
I know
all the time. All the time. I know people literally like some of the most fiscally responsible people I know. I have a close friend whose identity is used 30 times a day.
Wow.
He has zero credit. His only responsibility his only thing that he could do was change his social security number.
Wow.
Like basically change his identity and start over. But this person is very like they're good with their money. So there's people like that that just have to go the option of renting, or what? Are they going to live at a friend's house? There's just not a lot of great rental options in the area. That's why you're seeing investors buy houses and then have crazy rents, and then everyone's like, "Oh, these rent prices are crazy." It's because there's nowhere to rent. If you look in Valpo, the rents are pretty significantly lower because there's a lot of good places to rent. There's a lot more options to rent. Obviously, the university plays a factor in that, but there's a lot more
demand.
Exactly. And so there's no supply here. So the demand is crazy and the rents are crazy. This applies a great option for somebody who, yes, maybe you would want to buy, but maybe they either don't want to buy or for whatever unforeseen circumstance put them out of it. Maybe they just can't. And so maybe it's not about you, right? Because it's still bringing great people to this community who are going to take care of the community that just want a nice place to rent. I don't know.
Another thing to point out is if you are in the camp of like renting is across the board a bad option for a community or for anybody, have you tried to buy a house since 2008? Like the mortgage lending standards have completely changed. There's so many checks and balances. Check out the Chad Cryle episode if you haven't. But I mean, let's just play out this scenario. Somebody is maybe a salesperson, has great income, but they're on a commission-based compensation plan. They cannot qualify for a mortgage if they haven't been at that company for 2 years. Maybe they are, a fantastic earner and they'd be great at buying. What do you want them to do? Just like live with their parents and not have their own space? Or
it's a great option and a great community and a great product.
Yeah, it solves a lot of problems. It's a great solution. It may not be a solution for you or in your eyes, but it is for somebody, and it's a saving grace for somebody.
And it's, again, bringing other great people into the community.
That's right.
That want to be a part of it or already are a part of it. And they just need a place. I don't know. I think that there's got to be some empathy for that. And then from a macroeconomic standpoint for the community, look at the nicest places to live in this country. They have the best schools, best places to go, all that stuff I named off earlier, and they have great places that are also rental options. You go to a Fishers, you go to a Carmel, you go to a Naperville, you go to all these nice areas. By the way, if you don't want that, I understand it. Trust me, I get it. I am born and raised here. If you don't want it, I get it. but it's happening. I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah.
It's growing. You live in a great area. It's only going to continue to grow.
Yep.
Like, if you don't want to live in a growing area where more developments and more housing or people, you got to go to a more remote spot. But again, that's what happens when you build a great community. People want to come there. So that's the part of the process. So you have to look at it from great communities have great places for rent. And this is a great place to rent. So that's my opinion of it. We beat a dead horse, but I would here's my thing. I am open to reasonable conversations as to why this is a bad idea.
Absolutely.
Not just there goes the community.
I need more than one sentence.
I need a reasonable conversation. Not rentals are bad. Like, we need more than that. We need more than that. I understand the perspective, but I'm open to a reasonable debate. I'm totally open to listening and being empathetic to whatever your response is as well.
Absolutely.
Would love that conversation.
Yeah.